So hello and welcome to Cyprus. Now, anyone who's a regular viewer of my channel will know that I am completely and utterly out of my element here. I'm in Cyprus visiting my mum, and I'm currently at Kannaviou Dam. Now, my mum lives very close here. It's in the region, the district of Paphos, and today I've come to do some freshwater fishing. Now, I was meant to come down yesterday morning, however the wind blew up. It was blowing 25-30 mile an hour. Today it's not too bad, although there is quite a breeze. It's lovely and sunny, however it is pretty cold. It's only about 8 degrees at the moment, but I've come down to target some largemouth bass. Now, I'm actually really excited. I've never done any freshwater fishing in my life. I've never cast a lure into any freshwater, any dam, lake, anything like that. So it's a complete first time for me. I'm really hoping I can hook into a fish. I know there's quite a few bass in this dam. There's also other fish as well, like perch, carp. There's about 6 or 7 different species, I believe. Now, before I start, what I'll say is if you do fish any of the dams over here, you need to apply for a license. So I've got my license. It runs until the end of the year, the 31st of December. You can get them just to fish one dam, or you can get a license to cover you for all of them. So there's another dam a couple of miles from here, which hopefully, if I've got time while I'm over here, I'm going to give that a go as well. So my license covers all the dams. It's about 30 euros, 35 euros. And yeah, it will run throughout till the end of December. So if you ever come back later in the year, you're covered. And yeah, it just keeps you out of, you know, getting into any trouble or anything like that. Now, I'm just going to put the camera down because we've got quite a bit of wind coming in this direction. So what else can I tell you? Like I said, I've never done any freshwater fishing whatsoever. I have a few lures with me today. To start with, I've just tied a leader onto my rod, which I'm going to fish a lure just straight through. Now, what I'm going to do probably is chop and change lures quite a lot today. I also have some drop shot rigs with me as well, which I made up last night. When I put those on, I'll show you just how I've made them. They're very, very simple. It's just literally a length of fluorocarbon leader. I'm using a 4/0 circle hook on there, tied on by a Palomar knot, and then it's got a little drop shot weight. I've only got 1 ounce with me, but hopefully that's going to be fine. And I've got some soft plastics to fish with those. Now, the rod I'm using today is an Abu Garcia Vendetta, I think 5 to 20 grams. This is a 4-piece travel rod, ordered from Mr. Fish before I arrived. I've literally just taken the tags off it, never used it. And on here I'm using my Shimano Vanford 4000. I've got 20-pound braid and then a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader. I've just got a little soft plastic on there at the moment, which I'm going to chuck out first. I've got some little spinner blades. I've got some surface lures. I believe there's been bass caught off the top recently. So even though the conditions are still cold, the water's obviously cold, the bass are hitting top waters. I think you got to work them really, really slowly. So I might stick on a top water lure afterwards and give that a go. But anyway, I can't believe it. Fishing in scenery like this is really, you know, something that every angler should experience in life. It is utterly beautiful down here. I pray for a fish. It would make my trip if I can catch a bass today. So yeah, what I'm going to do is just wander around. I'll try and film bits and pieces to show you, and we'll start fishing. Hopefully we find something. So to start, I'm going to hit that big grass bank over there, and the reason for that is since I've been here I've seen 2 splashes on the surface. Now, at first I thought it was a bird, but I'm pretty sure it's fish. So we're going to wander around this direction, and I'm going to give it a few flicks with the lure over there. Hopefully I should have the wind behind me as well. Really cold, bitterly northerly wind. So yeah, on the day I arrived here, the weather was actually quite nice and it was fairly warm. And then yesterday it took a turn. The wind really picked up. I headed down the west coast with my mum in the car, and the sea was really rough, lots of swell. But just check that out, that's the dam wall over there. And I believe that runs about, I think it's half a kilometre along. So I walked along there on the first day I arrived. just to scope this whole place out. Now Kannaviou Dam is, I believe, the 5th biggest dam in Cyprus. You've got Everett, which is, I believe, is that direction, and I think that's the 1st or 2nd biggest dam, so that's the one I intend to hit if I've got time while I'm still here. So yeah, looking forward to this. Hopefully we find a bass. Right, let's go in with the first cast. That wind is really whipping around here. I'm just going to work this lure pretty slowly and just twitch it about. I'm just going to have to gauge how deep it is in certain areas, because I really know absolutely nothing about any of this. But yeah, it's all trial and error today. Let's have a cast into the wind. My reel's a little, really could have done with oil in this before I came, but we'll make do with what we got. So, it's been very interesting so far. Now, with this wind, I'm actually really limited to where I can fish. Now I'm having to creep down under little like mounds here and get some shelter from the wind, because it really is blowing it's quite strong. Now I've had a few casts, I keep chopping and changing lures. I've tried a top water, I've tried a diver, and now I've decided to change tactics a little bit, and I've put on a drop shot rig. Now the drop shot rig is very, very simple. All I've got is a swivel attached to my main line, and then I've got, I'd say, 3 foot of 20-pound fluorocarbon leader, and then on here, hope you can see that, just have a 4/0 circle hook. Now this is attached just by a Palomar knot, a very simple knot to do. And then I've got down to a little drop shot weight there. This is 1 ounce, so it's actually a little heavy for this rod, but I've just got to make do with what I've got on this trip, basically. Now there's a couple ways you can rig the lure. I'm using just a plain white worm. This is a mixed stick from Mr. Fish Jersey. Now what you can do, you can just stick it straight through the middle of the lure like that and have it fishing like that, or you can stick it through the top. So I think what I'm going to do is just stick it through the head there. Or say through the head, through the top of the lure, and just fish it like that. And how this works is it means you can fish the rough ground, so deeper, and obviously your weight's going to bounce on the bottom, but your lure is about 1.5 foot, 2 foot off the surface. Bounce it about like that. That lure's going to work in the water and hopefully entice a bass. So that's the method I'm going to go for now. I've just come round to this little cove. It's pretty deep here, so this is the reason for using this lure and this rig. So we'll give it a blast here, and yeah, if nothing happens, I might head further north that side, but again I'm going to have to find some shelter. Now it's interesting fishing here. I mean, like I said, I have zero experience of this, and I mean zero experience. The only things I'm going on are just the things I know about sea fishing already. I know obviously freshwater bass are different, but I'm looking for features. I'm looking for, you know, a lot of rack in the water to try and get in amongst that, hoping there's some fish hiding out in there. But yeah, I mean, it's all just a learning curve. And hopefully if I get the opportunity to do this again, I'm just going to learn from this session today and take it into the next one. So hopefully you'll be able to see a little better here. This is the rig. So I've got my swivel just here, about a foot to the hook and the lure, attached straight to the main line, and then down to my little weight there. So let's get this in the water, see if we can find a bass. So all I'm doing is just bouncing it off the bottom. It's not actually as deep as I thought it was, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's a good 10-12 feet in the middle there. Now really, I'm just fishing this area at the moment because this is where I'm finding the most shelter. However, I'm going to go on the hunt for some rougher ground where it's a little less out the daylight, or out the light should I say. A bit more cover in the water. You can just feel it bouncing off everything on the bottom there. Right where you want to be. I'm into a fish. You absolute beauty. Come on. Oh, there he is, jumping out the water. Right, I'm really high up here, so that looks like a nice sized bass. That's a lovely bass, in fact. Come on. Right. Get in. What a fish that is. That's a beautiful bass. That is an absolute beauty. Right, come on. Oh, yes. Oh, my lure's just popped off. No, but check that out. Yes, get in. Right, let's just give this a measure for my own. What we got? 40 centimetre. Look at that, hooked perfectly. That circle hook. What a beautiful bass. Yes, yes. Oh man, that's what I came here for. There we go, lovely 40 centimetre bass, taking on that mixed stick. Now I actually spat the lure out, but it was still hooked. But that's a fantastic fish. I'm so happy. Now you can see why they call them largemouth bass. That's beautiful, that. I'm going to get it straight back in the water and hopefully we'll find some more. Come on, Cyprus fishing. Right, bud. Let's get you back in. Well, check that out. Absolutely amazing. And off he swims. Yes, great stuff. Yes. Now I'm absolutely pumped. As I said at the start of this video, never in my life done any freshwater fishing. I said to myself at the start of this trip, if I could catch one fish, one bass, I'll be over the moon. That was a really nice fish, I think. Now, we're currently at the end of March, right at the end of March. In Cyprus at the moment, throughout the whole of March and the whole of April, all the bass fishing is catch and release. Not that I'm going to keep any anyway, but just thought I'd say that if any of you guys come out here ever, just make sure you check the regulations and everything like that. But a 40 centimetre bass, I'm dead happy with that. They actually had a bass comp here and at Everett 2 or 3 weeks ago. They had the first round of it, and the guy who got first place won it with a 50 centimetre. So 40 centimetre bass, I'll take that all day long. But that was unreal. Now you can probably see behind me there's a big mound here. I'm actually fishing high up because this stuff here is all like just really dry gravel, and it is so slippery. So I was actually fishing quite high up there, but it's good because I can see right into the water. And I was just bouncing that drop shot rig just off the bottom. I had a hit at first, which felt like a small hit, and I thought maybe it's not even a bass, it's just another fish going for it. So I let it just sit on the bottom for a little bit, and I just tapped it about like that, and then bang, fish on. But yes, dead happy about that. I've been here about an hour, I think, hour and a quarter, roaming around, and we got our fish. Now let's get it back in the water and see if we can find another. Man, I'm pumped. Look, here's my lure here. Just got to be careful. You can see really steep here. I mean, if you fall, and this isn't shallow water here, if you fall and you're in the water, bang, you're in water overhead straight away. And believe me, it's cold. So yeah, I'm taking extra care today. Now, one thing I will say is I get a lot of people message me who are completely new to fishing, bass fishing, and this is saltwater bass. Now, people ask all sorts of questions, and I'm by no means whatsoever any bloody pro or anything like that. I'm just a guy who likes to fish and goes out, and if I can share a little bit, then I love to do that. Now, me coming here today, I'm in the exact same situation as a lot of these people who are messaging me. I know nothing about this. The only things I know are from saltwater fishing, so it's just taking what I know into this, and oh, that felt like a hit then, and seeing if it works. You know, you never know until you try, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, then you learn for your next session what to do, what not to do. But yeah, that's all part of angling, you know. You learn 90% of what you learn is by you fishing yourself and out there on your own, experiencing it for yourself. The other 10% I would say is tips from other people, but you learn more from your own sessions than, you know, anyone else could really teach you. But it's so satisfying and so rewarding to, you know, have it pay off. Now I'm just going to flick one into that little sort of gutter there. So I reckon I might stick around here for a little bit longer. Fish around. I might head over to those bits over there as well, because if there's one bass here, hopefully there'll be a few more. Now I don't have Wi-Fi on my not Wi-Fi, I don't have like 4G or anything on my phone, but when I get back home later, I'll be sending Mick from Mr. Fish a message, let him know that his lure's worked over here. Right, let's go for a little wander. There's another bit just over this hill here, which I'm going to have a few chucks into. And then I'm not too sure what's round the other side. So I'll have a little look, fish a bit round here, and then might make my way back round the other side to near where I was before and have a go with the drop shot there, because it would seem like the other lures weren't working. So I reckon fishing close to the bottom is going to be the best bet. But you can see here, such a crazy place. Really is fascinating fishing places like this. And to me, this area down here looks pretty fishy, so I might go over to where those reefs are there and fish into this bit. moved once again. Now it's been pretty tough work. I don't know if you can hear it properly in the camera, but if I face that way, the wind is really howling in, and like I keep saying, it is actually surprisingly cold. Now yeah, I've been literally just been working the whole of the dam, all of this side here, on each little sort of head that sticks out. I've been stopping off, having anything from 5 casts to 15 casts, and just trying every little nook and cranny I can find. Now I'm going to head further this way. I'm probably only going to stay another half an hour, I reckon, because as I said, I'll be back once again. I'll either come to this dam or I'll go to the one further up, a couple miles away. But I'm so happy to have actually caught a bass anyway. If I can pick out one more fish, that would be brilliant, but if not, at least it's not been a blank. Now, one thing I would say, if you are coming to do this, you definitely need a couple of things, couple bits of equipment with you. One thing is some proper good shoes. Now I've just got sort of like hiking boots on, and they're only cheap ones that I bought, but they've got super grip on them. They've really helped. I've had a couple of slips down the banks because it's so just dry and slippery. You can really lose your footing quite easily, so a decent pair of shoes is definitely worth getting. And also polarized glasses. Now you need to be able to see into the water. I wear polarized glasses whenever I fish, for anything and everywhere. But yeah, those two things I've really noticed today are definitely important when doing this, because a lot of what you're doing as well is sight fishing. You know, every time you're walking around, you're looking into the water to see if you can see anything in the shallows or anything whatsoever, any form of life. But yeah, a couple of tips which I just thought I'd share with you, which I've noticed throughout this morning. But there's one little head which I'm going to go and try, which is pretty much right next to where I came down in the first place, and then I'm probably going to head home and we'll do a bit more fishing another day. So let's go give it a few more casts, see if we can find ourselves another bass. Just seen a big swirl there. What the hell was that? That looked like a decent sized fish. Right, I'm going to cast towards it. Now, if it's bass and there's bass about, it will take that. If there's anything else, your guess is as good as mine. So that's going to do it for my session today. My lift has just arrived and I need to get back up over the hill there and go meet my mum. But it's been a great little session. I mean, I know I've only had one fish, but just to catch anyway, I'm absolutely over the moon. Now, I just saw a big fish hit the surface. I have no idea what it was, but I've only had time to have 2 casts with that little spinner, and unfortunately I got to go. But it is difficult here. The wind is absolutely howling in, so I couldn't really get that out that far anyway. Now, I'm probably going to be out hitting one of the other dams, or even coming back here before I leave Cyprus. I'm also going to be doing a bit of sea fishing as well. I did plan on going yesterday, but the wind was so bad it was a complete and utter write-off. So yeah, thanks very much for watching my very first freshwater fishing video. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. We got ourselves a bass in the end, so really can't complain with that. Hopefully there'll be a few more freshwater videos in the future, targeting maybe more species, but definitely some more bass fishing. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one.